Hi there, my name is Sarah Nickerson. I'm a psychic medium intuitive. I live in Maine, which is why I'm wearing a hoodie because it's like 30 degrees outside right now. And I wanted to try something I've never done before. One thing I want to mention is that I am going to be putting on a free readings day. And I have some points here that I got to make. Because if I don't hit the points, then you're not going to know the things. Okay, so I have a free readings day that's going to happen January 7th. January 7th is free readings day. But here's the deal. At some point coming up soon, I'm going to announce on my social medias, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, when you will be able to sign up. And when that message comes out is when you will be able to sign up. So if you aren't connected with me on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, I'll have links in the description. You might want to go like me, friend me, and talk tick me, and whatever they do on TikTok. And that way, as soon as that message comes up, you will be notified. And I only have 6 slots. So whoever signs up for the slots, first come, first serve. That's just how the cookie crumbles, is what they say. If you're a Patreon donor, I'm going to have a separate day just for my Patreon people. So if you want to get in on that and have better odds on getting a free reading, then become a Patreon. It doesn't matter what level. Just sign up and I'll be sure to have you all in there, and I'll figure out a way for you guys to earn that. And again, 6 slots for the Patreon peeps. And follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And I do have a hint for you as to when this magical post will arise that will tell you it is time to sign up for a free reading. My hint is what is my hint? Completing endings and starting beginnings. On my channel, I've done stuff where there have been questions on Reddit, and I threw them up on my blog to answer them, coming from the viewpoint of being someone who didn't know they had these abilities for the longest time, and then discovering how to tap into it. And now I do it for a living. But also, 2, how your world is different after you start exploring these abilities and start recognizing the truth that they can help influence your life with. And then 3, that I believe anybody can do these things. And it's just a matter of where we go in our minds. A lot of things have conditioned us to be outside of ourselves with truth. And this is going to be the revolution of the future, is finding the inner you and the truth within. So I wanted to try something a little different on my channel. And I'm not sure how YouTube's going to deal with this, but I'm hoping to put clips up of Tyler Henry. He is known as the Hollywood medium. He's had a Netflix show, and he's been on the E! channel doing his Hollywood medium show with Tyler Henry. Tyler Henry was very young when he started doing this stuff, and actually when his skills seemed to be present for him. And this is very different for me, where I had sort of things that happened as I was growing up, but nothing that made me go, oh my God, I talk to dead people, or I know things that I shouldn't know, or recognizing that I have psychic ability. It was more of these things just kind of happened and were sort of spontaneous, and I didn't know how to control that kind of stuff. It's just, I had a psychic dream, or I had a weird thing that happened that you shouldn't have been able to do that, but it did, or it did happen. And so our stories are very different. And despite that, having the experience that I've had and getting to know this skill and this ability, first of all, when it comes to this kind of stuff, TV shows about mediums or psychics, I get kind of cringy about the thought to begin with, because this stuff is always sensationalized, and a lot of it is to kind of put this mystery around it, which where I am with the purpose of my life at this point is to have people consider that they can do this, and that it's not abnormal or unusual, and that it's just a skill we need to learn, which means we need to unlearn a lot of things about ourselves, decondition a lot of things about ourselves, because there's a lot that is creating a barrier between us and these abilities. And so that's my purpose right now, is to make people aware that you can do it too, and then B, to show you how to do it. So when I came across Tyler Henry on Netflix, I'd seen his face before, and I was originally like, oh, what's this? Gross. No. I have a thing. I mean, I know I'm not alone when it comes to TV, psychics, and mediums and their personas, and kind of being like, oh, well, that's really general, but that person's crying, so it really seems to affect them. And but now that I'm on the other side of it and knowing the experience, I understand that emotion and how people feel when they respond to information that a medium gets is just as a part of the truth as the information I'm pulling out. So I understand that aspect of it differently now than as a viewer and not knowing how to do this stuff. So when I came across this show, here we go. Here's the point. I started watching it, and I started looking at it from my newer point of view, which has been in the past 4 years of developing this stuff. And this was last year, I think, or earlier this year. I started watching it, and I started resonating quite a bit with how Tyler was doing what he was doing. And then I started recognizing that I was going into mediumship mode when he was going into mediumship mode with some of the stuff in the series. And it's something I noticed while I was watching it, but it wasn't until recently, somehow I came across Tyler Henry again. And I'm watching again. I have more experience at this point. I have quit my corporate job to do this stuff for a living because this is my passion and my path. And I'm watching his readings and still resonating and still feeling like what I have seen of Tyler Henry, albeit edited, as much as TV can give you in a 22-minute episode or whatever, it feels true to me. It resonates quite deeply. And even the way he talks about his abilities in interviews and stuff, I'm like, this guy just feels like the real deal to me. Being a medium, I see a real deal. Have I felt that for anybody and everybody? No. But that doesn't make it, but my opinion is just my opinion, and it really has to do with the resonance of your own truth. And that's something that Henry understands too. And that, there is singular truth, but there's a lot of perception in being a human being. And what resonates with one person won't resonate with another person, and that's fine. That's not a right or wrong. That's a good for me or not good for me. That's all that is. But anyway, so I wanted to go through one of Tyler Henry's Hollywood Medium readings, because I wanted to show you an exercise that you can do if you're interested in mediumship, if you just want to kind of dabble in it. And the key to using your third eye abilities, psychic, medium, healing, yes, those are abilities, is utilizing the imagination. A lot of people would say, well, that's just not proof of evidence, using your imagination. I just made it up. Utilizing the imagination allows for you to be a creator, but also allows you to obtain truth and information in a very illogical way at this time in history for mankind. But like I've said earlier, I believe that this is the future. Not the technology outside of us, but the technology within us, each of us, that is there and that we're conditioned to ignore. But the exercise is really interesting because, like I said, when I was watching the Netflix show, I would just sort of automatically start going into my mediumship mode when he was doing a reading. And so there were plenty of times when I was picking up on things that he didn't mention, or maybe that weren't true for the person he was reading. But there were also things that were aligning. So not only was I picking up on information that was edited into the show, but that Tyler was also getting, and I think speaks to your ability. Because I, at this point in time, really feel that Tyler is real deal. He's running from the same place that I use, and how I do it. I think, I'm not sure if he was trained by anybody. I don't think so. I am very much a fiercely independent person, and through the journey of me finding my mediumship, or recognizing those abilities, I feel like I was really kind of self-teaching. So there are plenty of schools that will teach you the right way to do a reading or to receive information, and get really like, the rules. And I fucking hate rules. So I make my own rules. I definitely have a fear of failure. And if I make the rules, then I can't fail. But I think when Tyler does a reading, there are some important points that he hits, that he knows is relevant, important information to provide evidence, but also to provide the messaging for the client. And the whole point of someone meeting with a medium is, one, to open that door of possibility that this stuff is for real. Not that Tyler's for real, but that there's another world that's unseen, another way that information can be obtained. Also, that it's a natural human thing. Like, let's open that door, please. But to also maybe find some comfort that there's something after death. For some reason, people just aren't okay with death. I think once you look at things from a mediumistic point of view, you almost feel bad that you don't feel so bad when people die, because it's like, oh, that's another helper for me on the other side, not because I want the money to talk to them like a gatekeeper, but it's more of like, I have a connection if I need some information. What they specialized with on the earth plane is something that can help me on the other side. So if, I don't know, if there's a doctor that dies, I could try to connect with that person and maybe they could help me. I remember there was one medium that I've come across recently, who worked with a doctor for a long time, and who had died, and was helping her with doing her work. So it's possible, which is crazy. I forget where I was going with all this, but yeah, I forget. Sorry. I was off on a tangent there. But anyway, so I think if you are looking to get into this kind of stuff, just be open and listening. Being open, listening. Maybe use a scribble pad like Tyler does, which is something I've seen him do, and I'm kind of like, I wonder if that would work for me too. But what I do is I just kind of go in a zone, and it's like I'm having my own conversation, and I'm not even looking at the client. I'm just kind of like going off. But if there are important points that speak to the message that they want to pass along, that's when I'm face to face with the client, because this is when things are really hitting home and there's comfort. That's where I was going with all this. Bringing comfort for those on the earth plane, bringing understanding to those on the earth plane who can't see this stuff for themselves yet. All right, let's get to the video and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm on YouTube. This one. Friday starts now at Dick's Sporting Goods. Save up to $1,100. Okay. I'm on the channel. I'm on the E Entertainment YouTube channel. Let's just get through this ad. I don't pay for the YouTube, and I have to suffer through the ads like everybody else. My way of dealing with it is just not looking at the screen, like purposefully. Okay. I hate that they list what's coming up in the video, so I'm going to cover it up, even though I can't prove that I haven't seen it. Tyler Henry gives Kristen Cavalieri, and I'm blocking the rest because I don't want to know, because in the title they'll say like who it was or what happened, and it's like, okay, I understand you're trying to entice people, but that's not helping me with my abilities. So I don't know who Kristen Cavalieri is. The name sounds familiar. The face looks familiar. So he probably doesn't know who it is either, which is kind of relieving to me. Oh my God. Hi. I'm Tyler. So nice to meet you. I'm Kristen. Oh, great to meet you, Kristen. He's so sweet. I'm Kristen. I will say, when I first started watching stuff about Tyler, it seemed to me that I felt an impression that he was very uncomfortable with his true self. And there are times when it kind of bothers me a little bit. I actually watched an interview he did recently where he was saying stuff I never heard him say before. And it made me feel a little more like, okay, I think he's finding who he is. I think he's growing comfort in that. We all have our own journey, and nonetheless, I think we can all appreciate Tyler for what he does and the demeanor he presents when doing these readings. But when it comes to being super authentic to who he is, I'm not sure if he has really found that for himself, which is not a criticism. It's just sort of my kind of point of view. Plus I'm 37 years old. So, and I've had kids and been through multiple jobs. So I've had plenty of opportunities to get to know who I am and to recognize what I'm not and what I stand for and what's important and priority. And when I had my spiritual awakening right after I started discovering my abilities, I started really pinpointing who I was by that point, and this just sent it over the edge. And now I wear hoodies. I don't wear makeup to do videos on YouTube. Like, I don't give a fuck, because I feel like who I am is what is most important in the information I'm passing along, in the intent that I have to pass it along. So even though I'm that one person on YouTube that's wearing a big giant hoodie and not wearing makeup and filming this in the dining area of my house, no studio, no makeup, no pretty jewelry, that's not me. That's not authentic, and that doesn't matter. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to learn a little bit about Kristen Cavallari here. We are at the 18 mark.
Larry and Tyler would probably recognize me from Laguna Beach or the Hills.
Okay.
I put up a very tough exterior. That's why I came across as so tough on Laguna Beach. But this situation is different because this is one of the most vulnerable things you can do, period. I've never just put myself out there like that before. So I'm a little nervous for that. Wow.
This is like the prettiest room.
I have done medium readings before. I usually would do them when I was growing up and I was kind of like seeing what was up with all this stuff. I would go to these gallery medium readings where there's a bunch of people in an audience and the medium comes to the people in the audience. And that's how I did readings for the longest time because I didn't want to be one-on-one. It made me feel really uncomfortable. But I always wanted them to come to me every time. So that's how sort of my interest and my comfort level matched for a long time, was just going to these gallery readings.
Ever
This is
filmed
my
in?
ladies' lounge. It's so special that Tyler came all the way to Nashville. He's in my home because I just think when you're in your own home, in your own environment, you're more relaxed. And then he can pick up on everything that's in my house as well.
I will say, having done readings at people's houses, it is nice to have that relaxing atmosphere that the client feels relaxed because then they're more open to what happens. But I can imagine being in a situation where I could feel uncomfortable in someone's house. And even more uncomfortable with like camera crews and all kinds of people around, just because that's not part of my process.
Wait, so do you like it or you have no idea?
I have no idea, but
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
but I mean, literally, I don't watch much TV,
No.
you know, so
That's awesome.
I don't know anything about you, so
Cool.
it'd be great.
I love his reaction, like, I don't know anything about you. I would just be like, you're that girl, you're the blonde girl from that reality show.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
My mom, Judy, and my dad, Dennis, are here today, and it was important for me to have both of them here for emotional support.
This is one thing that I do appreciate about the show, is that there's family members there, because it can be really hard to be sitting and getting a reading and to be on the spot with the information that's coming through. For instance, I don't know a lot of dead people personally. I know of some dead people. Even my biological father, I didn't really know him. So if people were to describe like personality or experiences he had, like I wouldn't be able to be like, okay, that's evidence, because I don't know that stuff. So I'm the worst person to have a medium reading with. And quite often it's people that I don't know that will come through. And so I have sort of this blind faith. And I really like that they do have family members that are around but aren't sitting with Tyler, because that can certainly muddy up a reading. But some people might be able to pull it off pretty well when it comes to a medium having a bunch of people around.
They're divorced, so everyone traveled from all over to be here today for this.
Now, the way that I work is I communicate what I see, hear, and feel. But my job is really just to kind of navigate who's coming through, figure out who they are, and what they have to say. But we'll navigate it, see what pops in, and I'm just going to take a minute to scribble.
So he's saying it from the client's point of view. I'm trying to figure out who they are and what they're trying to say. So what he needs to do is not only sort of say who they are, but also provide enough evidence that the client can feel that as truth. And this is when, as a medium, there's a lot of pressure to perform. But really, it's just letting go and just letting come through whatever comes through in the way that I put it, and that puts me at ease when it comes to that pressure and that tension, is I get what I get. I get what I get. Sometimes it's on the money and it makes people cry. And sometimes people are left going, well, thank you for your time. And I just say, I did what I was here to do, you know? And there's only so much control a medium has in a reading outside of the information you're given, you know? And sometimes that can be really difficult. But Tyler, he's been doing this long enough that he's tuned in and knows where to go and what to ask in the conversation with spirit to get the valuable nuggets for there to be proof, evidence, and that emotional evidence too.
There we go. So,
Scribbling.
okay. Can you lay the objects out right here for me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
This is one thing he does in his practice that I haven't really integrated or thought to put in, but people will bring things, they'll bring objects, and he will hold them. I've only done, I think it's psychometry is what that is, psychometry. I've only done that once, and it seemed to go okay. I just don't like to touch other people's stuff. I think it's gross.
I have a couple. So the ones that are connected to,
Kidding.
like any objects
But
that
I'm
are
not.
connected to a person, put all those objects.
They're all
Okay.
connected to
Oh,
the
awesome.
same person.
All right. Oh no, this looks like a baby. Oh, God. When it comes to kids in readings, I always like, ugh. Even when I'm doing a psychic thing and the person that I'm sitting across from is going to do things with kids, either raise kids. But the point is if this person like empowers kids and loves kids and like really values child energy and all that, it just breaks me down.
Perfect.
This is the one I
There's
choose.
a lot of unanswered questions surrounding the person that I'm hoping to channel today.
Oh no.
So I might be crushed if he doesn't come through.
All right, she's looking for a dude. So this is where I would have probably already started tapping in when Tyler was tapping in. So she wants a guy. And this is where logic kind of seeps in a little bit. So I'm seeing a sweatshirt, and it looks like a grown man's sweatshirt. But I'm also seeing this child's toy thing. So that's logically confusing. Like one's for a child and one's for a more grown individual. So this tells me there's childhood ties. This is me logically putting this together. It's a male. I'm going too logical. I gotta dial it back. Whoa. Not fall off my chair. And then I'm gonna bring it forward here. I just can't stop thinking this is a brother. And maybe I'm going really logical with this. But I feel like it's closer than a friend. I feel like a brotherly energy, a closeness. Of course, if there's someone you're going to bring in that's died and you have this opportunity to talk to a medium, you're going to want to connect with someone that's close to you that has died. So there's the logic, right? But the energy I'm feeling is an energy that doesn't have a separation or a disconnect like a friend would. But you can also have friendships where it almost feels like a brother or a sister. And sometimes you can have friendships that are closer than your real life brother-sister relationship. See how complicated it gets?
So we'll see where we go.
I'm also getting the letter V. I don't know if that has anything. I suck at names. I wish I was better. Working on it.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
I also feel like there's a car involved.
That'd be awkward if it died. Okay.
I also see a gold necklace as
The way
maybe
this is coming
a
in is like
gift.
there's a brother figure. Yeah. There's a whole hesitance in the way this is coming through, which makes it a little bit more of a challenge for me because of the.
You noticed he said brother figure. So that allows recognition that it might not necessarily be a blood brother, that it is a male that you would put in the category of closeness in relationship, where I feel this could be like that sibling kind of feeling.
Feelings behind this, so I feel like.
I also feel like confusion, a little bit of chaos, maybe, and sometimes I kind of designate diagnoses, and I shouldn't really do that, but just describe what it is, because then people will take it and they'll be like, he didn't have ADHD though. But that kind of behavior where I feel kind of scattered, but I'm running fast, a million miles a minute, not maybe being super thorough with the way I think through things.
I'm slipping. Like it would be something that would affect the brain, and it's like I want to present myself in a certain way. I want to show people who I am, and it's like, but because of this thing, I'm not able to be who I want to be, and it just keeps coming in like, oh.
So I feel like this is going in line with what I'm bringing forward, in that this person is going a million miles a minute, but can't settle into who am I, what am I doing, being thoughtful about the process in order to own what it is, the energy that they are.
And over again. So yeah, sounds like mine. It's a very insistent thing with this of having to talk about the mind and the brain. So let me look. What was his first name?
I'm also getting intravenous,
Michael.
like veins and heart. And
This is coming in as a situation. I'm like getting emotional. I don't typically that. I kept hearing. I didn't know what was going on. And then they're having me talk about two factors playing on someone's mental state. But there's an acknowledgement with this. More of an emphasis on the drugs and alcohol than even as the mental illness thing. It's when we go down the drugs and alcohol route, it's kind of like there's no saving me.
Yeah.
That kind of triggered or kicked off some things.
Yeah.
And that seems significant. So family has wondered that. That's validation.
Crazy. I mean, that's...
I'm actually getting a lot of head pain right now. So when it comes to drugs and alcohol, mental illness, these things are really close to my personal experience and things I've experienced with people around me. And so I feel like I pick up on this stuff pretty good, just because my life experience has led me to understand that energy and that vibration. I also feel like a lot of head pain going on right now. And I would also maybe attribute that to sort of calling attention to the head, to the brain, like Tyler is, but maybe also sensation of what was felt at the time of passing or that led up to passing. And I am wondering if we're going to a blood clot in the brain or a stroke or something in the brain. I also feel nauseated. Ooh, I feel really bad right now.
Like, so accurate.
I kind of just want to get through this so I can stop feeling this way.
Mike dealt with, we think, bipolar disorder. He would go into these manias and think that everything's great, everything's fine, and then it would like just crash. and would be depressed, and it was just this constant up and down, and then you throw drugs and alcohol into the mix, and it would just enhance everything. And it went
He
on for
was in
years.
chaos.
There were some demons, there's no doubt about it.
This is going to sound strange because this is not a common thing at all.
I'm seeing a scooter or like one of those Razor scooters. I'm just seeing the handlebar though.
For a brother, when we have grandparents who die, it's normal to name someone after them. This is going to sound weird, but there's some acknowledgement with the brother situation of like being honored in a name sense. Even you.
Please wait for this ad. Another fucking ad. Thank you, YouTube.
Oh my god!
Is there a bench or something?
My cousin just had a baby and named him Cappy. That was my brother's nickname.
There you go.
Oh, that's why I'm getting the V. The last name.
So,
Vocabulary.
Oh my god. No way we ever know something.
That was a great catch, Tyler. I don't know how he does that kind of stuff. I study him to see what it is that he brings forward for information to know, like, first of all, that was an impactful moment, right? So what question is he asking them that I'm not asking them? So how have you been honored here on the earth plane since your passing? Like, that is all I need to add in order to have those impactful moments that mean a lot to the person I'm sitting across from.
God, it's so cool.
Yeah. Good job, Tyler.
It's so clear that there's no possible way you could know.
That's one hitch with these readings that just drives me nuts is the whole, like, there's always this mention of like, this stuff is true. Like, I just want to get us to a place in society where it's not like, oh my God, this is amazing, this is mind-blowing, but more of like, that information meant so much to me, or that information makes me want to investigate this further. Like, there's inspired thought from the information that Tyler's giving, and not the inspired thought being like, there's no way he could have. So it, like, let's get over is this real or is this not real? And let's just move forward with, well, what are you getting from the messaging?
It is good to keep in mind, so this is so...
And that he's not trying to trick you. I understand why people think that, though. I understand. I'm over it.
Weird. He's showing me license plates for some reason. Okay. License plates. Think of somewhere where people would store license plates, like where we would have license plates hanging up.
I know nothing comes to
Logical.
mind, but okay.
Seeing it, it's like a place. So it'd be a whole wall of license plates.
I used to keep license
I know
plates
you did.
on the wall in the garage in Laguna Beach.
This actually looks like somewhere where it would be more like home-oriented or like older. It definitely isn't this environment, but it's like somewhere where we would have more than one, like something. Bring up your dad.
Bring up Dad.
Come on.
License plate for my truck.
Good job, Tyler.
NJC 8515.
How could she not remember that?
There's a very strong acknowledgement of like getting up and leaving. Like, I'm up and I'm gone, and I'm not telling anyone where I'm at. So this is kind of a weird thing. Like, was there ever times where he would just up and leave and not tell anyone, or were there any circumstances where we would just be like, "Where are you?" And like, "Are you missing? We don't know where you are." Like, you didn't give anyone the heads up. It seems very impulsive.
Yeah. You know, we all had a bit of a strained relationship with my brother towards the end. He wasn't in a very good place, and it was really hard for any of us to talk some sense into him. It was very difficult to have a relationship with him. But also when he died, we felt like we were on a episode of like Unsolved Mysteries. He was missing for 2 weeks, and we didn't know where he was.
As a family member of someone with mental illness, it's really difficult in this day and age for you to feel any resolution for people you love that are in that situation, because very often they can choose to not get treatment. And then you're left feeling really guilty and watching this person die. She mentioned that her brother went missing for 2 weeks, and my family member, who's a very close family member to me, I don't even know where this person is. I do not even know if this person is alive. And this is the reality of knowing somebody with mental illness and who is unable to reason for their betterment in a logical, reasonable, quality of life kind of way. So if I was to do a reading with her, I could get those nuances of the relationship, understand those emotions and those feelings, because I've been through that. I still go through that. And I also understand what it's like to live with this for a long time and to almost like have already gone through a grieving process that this person is gone, even though their body is still around. And I hate to say it like this, but I feel like it's a way that I can deal with this in a way that keeps me healthy and logical. But I feel like there will be a day when I won't know this person has died, and I might find out in the newspaper, you know. So I understand that struggle, and as a psychic medium, that would be a natural area that I could really understand those nuances of that experience that could really hit home for somebody, as well as being a mom. Like, I have that experience as well.
So sorry.
That's why different mediums are good for different people, because of the experiences they've had and how their depth can resonate for you. Even how they communicate, the energy that they give. Some psychic mediums might be just way too much energy. Like, it's just a wall, and I can't do that. Other people are sucked right into it and are just all about it. And then there's other people that prefer a more subdued energy, more grounded, maybe realistic, maybe one who slings around F words. That's me. I think Tyler does that too, but you don't see it on TV.
There's also this thing, though, about, like, a car thing, and there's an apology around this. Either wrecking someone's car, or taking someone's car without their permission. It's the thing.
So I said car earlier, but Tyler went the extra step and was communicating with the brother. And that's how the car came up. And also taking responsibility for something that happened to the car.
Wrecked his car in the middle of Utah almost 2 years ago. And, you know, he was running on lack of sleep, and he ended up crashing his car in the middle of nowhere. And it was in November, so it was really cold. When you have hypothermia, you really lose your mind. Like, you know, you have no sense of what's going on. And so he clearly just, like, stumbled down, hit his head.
Oh my gosh. This guy.
I mean, it was crazy.
Tragic.
I'm so sorry. That's so difficult. I mean, I can't even imagine how that must have felt. Yeah.
Helpless. You feel helpless.
So can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Did it get to a point where he got lost out there and couldn't find his way back to his car and his phone?
Part of me feels a surrender that took place there. There was a moment of clarity in surrendering.
Let's see. And he's having me acknowledge looking for a river. Like, I know
Water?
Yeah, like, to be able to walk, like, to, like, follow where the water was. There's this feeling of just not getting the chance to obviously do this to an area of the population. So there would.
So he was trying to find his way out of there.
Right. He was gonna follow the river. I have no doubt in my mind, based on all of the details and validations that have came through today, that he didn't intend to end his life. He just kills me.
Here's an interesting thing. I feel like he had a knife, like a pocket knife, not like a switchblade, but like a utility knife. Not a utility knife, like my husband's a maintenance guy, and he always has this gadget with him, has all the things. And for some reason, I feel like this guy had that. I think if he wanted to end his life, he would have used that. But I do feel like there was clarity and a surrender that happened during that moment. So I would have passed along to Kristen, right? Kristen, that I do feel like there was choice in this, and there was peace in this as well. And I think that maybe could have helped.
That was really hard to hear, because the thought of him being out in the middle of nowhere just kills me. Just kills me. And I think deep down I knew that, but
he was always in the middle of nowhere, Kristen.
I'm happy that I know. That's how I can then accept it and move on from it and come to terms with it. I would rather know than not know.
Oh, okay. He doesn't want you to feel any guilt about your success when it comes to him. So I know that's like a weird thing to say.
No, it's not.
But he doesn't.
Not when it's coming from him.
He doesn't want you to feel like, for all you have in your life, that like you got it all and he got nothing. He's acknowledging pride around all what you've done.
I also feel like there's some connection with a daughter of Kristen. So I don't know if Kristen's had babies, if she has a daughter, but I feel like there's a connection between the brother and the daughter. I don't know when this video was. But
he acknowledges in hindsight that he was just dealing with this issue that he simply couldn't beat. And he is so proud of all of the success that you've been able to have and create. And he doesn't want you to feel any guilt around that.
I mean, we had a strained relationship in a sense, because he made me feel like I had everything going and he got the raw end of the deal. And that was really hard for me.
he's holding that against
So,
you.
To hear that he doesn't want me to feel like that is really comforting. It's so amazing that my brother in the afterlife can come to peace with our strained relationship that we had the last few years.
So when people pass on and they transcend, one of the things that happens is a lot of the low vibration, energy, emotions that we hold so dear here on the earth plane have to be dropped in order to ascend. In order to move on, you need to let go of the things you hold against people, and you're actually left in this higher vibration realm, kind of helping people out, but seeing things more clearly and not through the perception of what you, the fears, am I moving this? Of the fear conditioned life that you led here on the earth plane. So once you move up, then quite often you hear people will say they're sorry, or I didn't recognize that at the time, or I didn't know better, or I wasn't aware, because so often each and every one of us are conditioned to be in this world and going like this, and I, me, mine. So that affects everybody around you. And once you transcend, the blinders come off, and then you're open to the scope.
This is the sweatshirt that he actually died in. It's a lot. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know, even though he's gone, we can fix it and work on it more now than we were able to the last few years.
Wonderful.
You too. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Absolutely.
Tyler's great. I mean, he's so accurate about everything. It's really cool now that I've gone through it. I mean, I can speak to how great he is. I feel like I just went through an emotional roller coaster, but good. I mean, I'm feeling really good.
Take care. Good life.
Oh, you too. All right, bye.
Healing.
Validates all of my beliefs. Oh my god.
I just got chills
I'm
right there.
emotional. Wow.
Right.
Oh my god.
I love that both the
Well, I think
parents
it's
are there.
wonderful that, there was some communication between the two of you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have always felt so.
I think mom has had some surreal dreams with him, with her son in it. I think one where he was even giving her flowers.
Guilty. I mean, because I just felt really guilty about.
Well, he wanted you to feel guilty, but he was also super proud of you.
Exactly. Which is what he was.
He didn't know how to get out of his own way.
I was happy for you, or for both of you, actually.
Oh, he wanted something.
Because I've gone through a lot of it, and it really worked. I really worked on a lot of it myself. So,
I can't imagine being a
makes me
parent,
good to see you guys,
being a kid like that.
kind of experience it too.
Helpless. A helpless parent. You do everything to protect the
My
child.
brother's passing has brought me closer with my parents. I think us as a whole. My parents have been divorced. They've both been remarried. But it's brought the three of us together. And even Mike in spirit, it's kind of brought us back to that core family, which has been really nice. I haven't experienced it since I was really little. So that's great that it can bring us closer together. And I think my brother would really actually like that it's helping all of us heal and come together.
Good job, Tyler. Yeah, so as you could tell when I was watching the reading, I would kind of tap in, boop, kind of open up the imagination, see what would come through, and sometimes stuff would just kind of roll in. Some stuff I get validation on, some stuff I don't. It's sort of the luck of the draw as to, is it going to be edited in? Is Tyler going to pick up on this? So there's only so much validation you can get when it comes to watching a video. But doing a reading, that's how you get to the good stuff. That's how you get the 100, well, I won't say 100%. I can't imagine having 100%. Being a human being, there's no such thing as 100%. There's 99.99999%, right? Razzle dazzle. Okay, so that free readings day is coming up January 7th, but there's going to be some point in the next few weeks where I'm going to put out the message to say, it's time to sign up. Here's the link. So look out for that. Follow me on all the socials. And thank you so much for watching this. If you are looking to get in touch with your soul abilities, which is one of my purposes right now, is for people to see this stuff for themselves. This is your world too. I have an online workshop that I created. It's a big giant workshop. It's got 2.5 hours of video. I give you techniques to connect. I give you exercises when it comes to, and procedures when it comes to what can help you get to that place to exercise this stuff, but also to help build your vibration, because vibration is how you connect. So I help you with all these things. I help define, I help clarify personal things for you when it comes to what you're bringing and your personal skills. I actually have 4 assessments that are a part of the curriculum. So you can hone in on a skill that's heightened for you, or an ability, or what else do I do? How your vibration is, stuff like that. So you can check that out at my website, nextgenmedium.com/soul-abilities-workshop. It's $79.99. I just did a big giant Black Friday deal for it, and it was $19.99, which is insane. But we're back at $79.99, and who knows? I think when the new year comes around, I'll probably do another deal for people again, because we're kind of busy shopping for other people right now, right? So look out for that as well on my socials. Thank you for watching. Check me out again on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I have a podcast, Next Gen Medium Podcast. And until next time, do your practicing and get to know you, because that's all you got. Thank you for watching.